Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the EAC and the Democracy Fund Action for inviting me here. It's a big honor for me, and I really would like to thank you. Yes, I'm Lance Gough. I'm the Executive Director of the Chicago Board of Election since 1988. I didn't have any gray hair at that time. But in 1988, the wisdom of the Chicago Board selected me as Executive Director. And before I accepted that position, I went and met with the President of the County Board, George Dunn. I said, Mr. President, do you have any advice? He said, no. He said, I'll see you later, and I walked out. My next person that I had to meet was with Harold Washington, Mayor Harold Washington, and it was in the morning. And if anybody really knew Harold, he loved breakfast. So you walked into the mayor's office, and there was a buffet spread out, and he had several people around, and I said, hi, Mayor, how you doing? He says, oh, wait 1 second. He asked everybody to leave. They all left. I went and sat down. Harold looked at me, and he says, so what are you here for? And I said, well, Mayor, I've been appointed as Executive Director at the Chicago Board. I just want to know, do you have any advice or anything? He looked at me, and he said, Gough. He said, if you take care of the community will take care of you. And he said, you can have that job forever. Well, I've had it since 1988, and I'm going to let it go soon, just to let you know that now. Language assistance. People ask me about language assistance. They say it's expensive, it's hard to comply, and at the end of the year, after elections, I get hate mail saying, why did you put this ballot in English, Spanish, Chinese, Hindi? And I then have to give them the legal jargon, Section 203 of the Voting Rights Act, go through all this. And then I end every time that I end that letter with, it's the right thing to do. And as long as we get that across, I think it'll be better off for all of us. Language assistance. First of all, we have language liaisons at operational core, meaning the people that you send out to help the community, the language community, must know the operations of the office. In Chicago, part of that is community services. I have all my liaisons work in community services, so they know about training, poll worker recruitment, because they have to recruit poll workers. They know about voter registration. And knowing these items makes it a lot easier for them. Our language liaisons must know all facets of the operation. So they meet with all the different supervisors, even my warehouse people, to see where's the equipment placed, how's it placed in the ESCs, how's it placed in the polling places. So that's a very big piece of an operation. For translations, we think globally. When you walk into the polling place, if you speak a different language, that's covered. You must be able to put your hands on that right away, meaning whatever's in English should be in that language also. And it's something that we live by. It's just not about a few forms, it's everything. It's the signs that we put out for early voting. It's the news release that we do on our websites. It's our legal notices. All of these things that we put in the newspapers, we translate also. Okay, this is something that always gets people, the website. We rely on our website a lot in Chicago. You can find any information you want to on our website. The problem is a lot of websites, you have to go to English first before you go to that language. Never make the web user search in English to find their translation. It's something like if I went to Italy and got a map, would I be able to find my way back to the hotel? Probably not. Luckily, they do have the McDonald's has a great map in Italy that shows you where everything's at. It's in English, and you can use the McDonald's locations to find out where you're at. make, oops, sorry, make your website fully navigable for every language user. If you look on the left-hand side, that's in Hindi. On the right-hand side, it's in English. Everything is translated. Use authentic translations. That is the reason why we hire people from the community to work for us, to help us with the translations. You want to make sure that everybody understands what you're trying to get across. Okay, this is something that I'm a big person on. It's not a one-button press. I do not like Google Translate. Google Translate has gotten me in more trouble than you can imagine. It's funny, the word primary in Google Translate means grade school. In Google Translate, the word candidate means unemployed job hunter. And early voting means morning voting. So try to avoid that. In fact, let's not use it at all. I know Google will be writing me a letter soon. When in doubt, check the EAC glossary. You know, as election officials, a lot of us think we know everything because we've been here so long. But the EAC is a great resource. Their glossary is great. And basically, we have that on, well, I have it on my desk all the time. But it's a great resource, and it's something that we should rely on. Now, let's say something's not in the EAC glossary. I haven't found it yet, but if it's not, then I would suggest go to a translation agency. But once you do that, then meet with the community, because we found out between different communities, the translating services is not always the same. So it's something to keep our eye on. Partner with community groups. Listen to what they have to say. It's very easy to do. I know that there have been things that they've said to me that I really didn't like what they said, but I listened to them. Partnership must be year-round, not just around election time. In fact, we have full-time employees that are liaisons with the different language communities, and that's what their job is to meet with the community groups on a constant basis. And as executive director, if a community group asks me to show up, I show up. My wife, who's been married to me for 26 years now, knows that we miss birthdays, baptisms, because I've been invited to speak or go to different community groups. Language liaison should attend every event year-round. Yes, plus the executive director too. Include all community groups in formulating policy. And that is a keystone to what we're trying to do here. You know, if you can get the community groups on your side, when you have to go into budget time, and I've had to go into, city and the county are fighting with me constantly on my budget, but you have the community groups backing you, and these are the ones that elect these people at city council and the county board. It's always to have them with you, and we've had a great partnership. Year-round outreach activities. That is right there, that's a Young Voters Education Forum that I was at, and it worked very well. Great young people. The second one is Univision Chicago. Univision Chicago is a radio station that's with Channel 5 News, and this is when we had a telephone bank where we had, before the election, voters would call in to ask questions. And it turned out to be more than I thought. We were answering questions for all of the Midwest. We were answering questions for Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, and it worked out very well. And I was very proud of this. Outreach is year-round activity. There's Jane Lau. She's at a healthcare fair right there. And yes, the sign at the above is in English, but the one by her is in Chinese. And yes, we go to many ethnic groups. This was a holiday celebration that we had a voter registration act. Outreach. Now, this is my past board members, and the woman in the center in white with the white jacket, that's my new chairwoman, Marisol Hernandez. She speaks fluent English and fluent Spanish. And it's great to have a partner like that when you're doing a press conference, and after she finished, she said, well, let me speak to my language. And she goes right into Spanish. And the Univision, they love it, and she's done a great job, and she's a great outreach for our office. I'm very proud to have her. Yes, we recently had a meeting with the Korean community, and there's Andy Kane in there who would beat up on me. He's going to be presenting later on today. When we have our ballots are in English, Spanish, Chinese, and Hindi, well, Andy says, we need it in Korean. I said, Andy, you know, you're going to catch me right before the primary election. Yeah, we really need it. And then he marched a group into my office and stared me down, and I couldn't say no, so I said, okay, we'll do it, whatever. And then after he left, I pulled staff together and I said, how are we going to do this? Well, we did. And Andy, I appreciate that. You know, we need the community groups to give us a shove every once in a while, and it was the right thing to do. We also have in the city of Chicago a huge Polish population. Our Polish population is the second next to what they have in Warsaw. And we do a lot of language accessibility and help with the Polish community. In fact, they have a radio station and a TV station where I have an employee that's on there constantly. And that's been a great partnership. Okay, let's just say when we talk about partnerships, what we did back in 2012, we invited all the different community groups under one roof. We went to the UIC Convention Center, and we had about 100 tables, and we'd have 10 or 8 people at each table. And we threw out questions. What would you like to see elections in the future? And we got everything from, you know, we want to vote on our smartphones. Yeah, it's not going to happen right in through here. Technology is getting better, but it's not quite there. They wanted to work on online voter registration, election day registration, civics education. Do you know they stopped, and I did not know this because I've been out of school for so long, but in Chicago they stopped educating kids in civics 10 years ago. Which I think why we couldn't figure out why so many young people didn't want to vote, didn't want to register to vote. They did not understand the process. Well, with this community forum that we had, some of the items that we came across with, we did get online voter registration. We did get election day voter registration, and the legislature made it mandatory that civics were taught in every school in the city of Chicago. This was monumental, and it's funny. I've always said elected officials always don't want to change because they were elected this way and they don't want to change. But I could not believe that it was a unanimous vote on getting civics education back in the schools. Additional laws were introduced, and we're looking at developing vote centers. As I said earlier, we have one community made up of many populations. As election administrators, we have to reach out to all of them. And it's something that I really believe in. This can only be accomplished with language assistant and outreach programs. And like I said, you'll be criticized, but stand tough and just remember it's the right thing to do. Thank you very much.